So they've qualified for 5 times in the last 5 years in the IPL for the playoffs. Can they make a sixth this time? Does Jason Holder, Jason Roy, Mohammad Nabi, or anyone else fill that fourth foreigner slot for this team? And let's talk about Bhuvneshwar Kumar, a revamped version Bhuvneshwar Kumar, Natarajan, Abdul Samad, and a whole lot more in this preview of Sunrisers Hyderabad ahead of IPL 2021. Right, so if you haven't done it yet, like, share, and subscribe to cricketnews.com. There's a whole lot of conversation happening about so many things, different teams, different franchises, different players, different matchups, a whole lot coming your way. So like, share, and subscribe to cricketnews.com. But do you know something? There is one team in this entire IPL that doesn't get spoken about a whole lot, and criminally so, of course, and that is Sunrisers Hyderabad, an absolutely brilliant franchise that has gone on to achieve a whole lot in its recent history and really bring a different flavor to the IPL. All teams on one side and Hyderabad on one side. And I say that because there's a whole lot of pomp and show about every single team all around, but not Sunrisers Hyderabad. Of course, within their bubble in Hyderabad, there is great fanfare. The likes of Rashid Khan, David Warner, Bhuvneshwar Kumar are absolute titans of the city, and they get a whole lot of fan following indeed. But outside of Hyderabad, there is not a lot about them that gets spoken, but yet they are every single year. They manage to do really well, upset teams. But I think it's time that we stop talking about Hyderabad in that capacity now. They don't upset teams, they beat teams, and they beat teams convincingly, like they did last year as well. Let's take a look at what Hyderabad did well in IPL 2020, right? Of course, the number one predicament that they were against was they had no Bhuvneshwar Kumar, and that was supposed to be the one thing that was supposed to bring them down, but it did not. Emerged Natarajan. T. Natarajan took the reins of Hyderabad's bowling capacity and did such an incredible job. Bowled Yorkers at will and really spearheaded this team along with Rashid Khan, who was just unplayable with an economy of below 6. Rashid Khan was absolutely unstoppable last IPL. What else did they have to do? Well, for starters, David Warner wasn't getting a lot of runs until he managed to get 580 runs. Again, going past that tally of 500 runs in the last 6 IPLs, which is absolutely staggering. Becomes Mr. IPL for me. And but that was a situation that they had to deal with as well. But up stepped the younger lot, the likes of Priyam Garg, the likes of Abdul Samad, and many others who came in and did the job for Hyderabad. Jason Holder came in towards the end and got that really good stability. He did everything. He bowled 4 overs and bowled them with elan, gave Hyderabad that one end where they can absolutely block out, and Rashid could absolutely attack from the other end, and Holder also can hit it out of the park. So couple of really good additions that Hyderabad did last time, and they made it to the playoffs but couldn't take it further. So what did they do in the auction? Let's take a look at that. So in the IPL 2021 auction, of course, Hyderabad came in, they decided to have a cup of tea, sit down and not do a whole lot. That's what they did. Typical Hyderabad fashion. You do not really have to stress a lot. You just have to sit down, enjoy the sounds and the sights of where you are, and go about your business. And that's exactly what they did. They went in and acquired Mujib. They went in and acquired Suchit. And very importantly, they got in Kedar Jadhav, somebody who has received a whole lot of criticism, almost unfairly in the recent past. But they've gotten the services of Kedar Jadhav for base price. And now he comes into that middle order, which we will come to in a bit as well. So the 3 changes that Hyderabad have done, or the 3 additions that Hyderabad have done, 2 of them you think might not get a lot of game time, but Kedar Jadhav indeed will walk into that middle order at Hyderabad to offer a bit of spin, of course, and also a lot of maturity with the bat, and that will be his role in this Hyderabad unit, which we will come to in a bit. Right, so let's take a look at a possible Hyderabad 11 now, shall we? And you'd like to wonder that the 11 that will walk out on the park in 2021 will not be very different to the one that walked out in 2020, apart from a couple of changes, of course, and a couple of upgrades. I'd like to say that. Okay, so we begin with David Warner and Wriddhiman Saha at the top. I really liked what I saw from these two at the beginning, towards the end of IPL 2020. Saha came in and gave a free-flying breath of fresh air at the top, and these two look very, very good. So we open with Warner and Saha, and then comes Manish Pandey at 3. Hyderabad have been very kind to Manish Pandey, I believe, and it's time for Pandey to really deliver this IPL for Hyderabad if he wants to be a part of the furniture come the next big auction as well. So Pandey bats at 3 for me, and then follows Williamson. After Williamson, you come in with Kedar Jadhav at 5. I think that is a very important position for this team, and Jadhav is well suited to sort of give what is required in that position. Abdul Samad comes in at 6. He's had a very good domestic season as well. Confident young bloke, powerful lad, can hit the ball out of the park. It's an important position in T20 cricket to bat at 6. Samad is somebody who can do the job there. At 7, you either play Nabi or Holder, depending on the surface. If you're playing in Mumbai, you go in with Holder, somebody with pace. And if you're playing in a place like Chennai, then probably Mohammad Nabi is a good fit for you. Rashid comes in next, and then Bhuvi, Natarajan, and Sandeep Sharma, which makes this Hyderabad 11 complete, and it is an absolute solid 11 to say the least. They've got options on the bench as well, a number of options that can come into the squad right away, come into the 11 right away, and can contribute from the word go. And I think this team will be very well suited to take on the plethora of conditions that they will have to adapt to in the course of this tournament. So what is it about Sunrisers Hyderabad that will make them click in IPL 2021, in my opinion? Well, the number one thing that strikes you is that the triumvirate is back. Warner, Rashid, and Bhuvaneshwar Kumar, the absolute trio. These guys are absolute titans in Hyderabad, and the trio has returned. Bhuvaneshwar Kumar was not around last time, remember, and these 3 will be reunited with Bairstow coming in as well on the back of a very, very good tournament versus India. So the core will be back this time with Williamson, of course. Never forget Williamson. So the core will be back this time and reunited. Remember, the strong always feed on each other. The strong team members always feed on each other. They rely on each other's experience. So to have that core back together in form and available for selection will be a big, big boost for Hyderabad. The other big positive for Hyderabad is that the youngsters from last year have gone on to acquire much more experience, and none more than T. Natarajan, who's gone on absolute adventure. He's gone on an absolute adventure with Team India, went as a net bowler to Australia, went on to debut in all 3 formats and did so very well, received a heroic welcome as once India came back home from that great series in Australia, and then has gone on to play for India in Indian conditions as well. So he's a different human being, remember, this time, and he'll bring in all that experience with the skill that he has to bowl at the death. And alongside him will be Bhuvaneshwar Kumar, and these two have already bowled for India together. So remember, there is that experience that Natarajan will bring in. Samad is coming at the back of a very good domestic season as well. I like Priyam Garg. I think he'll feature in a few games as well. So the younger lot of Sunrisers Hyderabad are looking very, very good, and they have a little bit more experience and will be a little bit more comfortable in these conditions. All in all, I'm very excited by this Hyderabad team. It looks very well rounded. The players have grown in the last 6 months, and they'll come together under a very good leadership core under VVS Lakshman and David Warner to, I think, challenge the Mumbai Indians for the title this year.